My mom said, "Come early, we'll celebrate." When we arrived, my daughter was given a name tag that read, "Limited guest." My brother whispered, "That means no food." Then his kids laughed out loud. I didn't argue. I just took out my phone and typed, "Cancel everything immediately." 30 minutes later, they wished the words they had said were never spoken. My name is Mark. I'm 33. Oldest son, quiet one. Fixer, the person my family calls when a bill is due or a tire blows out on the highway at 2 a.m. I grew up 10 minutes from where my parents still live, in a small brick house where my brother, Nathan, was the sun and the rest of us orbited around him without complaint. I work in IT. Nothing glamorous. I fix things that other people break. That pattern never really stayed at work. I met Lena at 25. We got married at 27. Our daughter, Mia, is 5 and likes stickers and pockets. She stuffs every pocket she has with stickers, ticket stubs, tiny folded notes that say "For Daddy" in shaky letters. I keep them all in a shoebox. If you asked anyone from the outside, we're a normal family. Holidays, pictures, the occasional fight about nothing. But my family has this way of measuring love in receipts. Who paid? Who showed up? Who owes? For years, it's been me owing. Nathan's the golden child. He has that easy smile, the story for every room, the kind of charm that makes waiters bring extra fries on the house. In school, he didn't study much, but he knew every teacher's favorite joke. Mom calls him my miracle. Dad calls him a born closer. He started 3 businesses and closed 2. The third is about to pop off, which is how it's been about to for 3 years. Me? I keep my head down, I pay my own way, and when they ask me to help just this once, I do the math and say yes because saying yes feels cheaper than the fight that follows no. 2 weeks before the party, Mom called. "Come early," she said, voice sweet. "We'll celebrate." "Celebrate what?" I asked. "Family," she said. "And Nathan's big pitch next month. You know he's almost there." I hummed. "We'll come." Lena looked at me over the sink. "You sure?" "It's just dinner," I said. "We'll leave early if it turns weird." She nodded, like wives nod when they already packed Plan B in their heads. Saturday came gray and sticky. Mia wore a yellow dress with a little bow and asked if there would be cake. I told her yes because at my parents' house there was always cake for Nathan and crumbs for the rest of us. We brought salad and a box of pastries from the nice bakery because Mom says our grocery store stuff tastes like cardboard. I parked on the street because Dad says the driveway is for family cars, which somehow never means mine. Inside, there were balloons. A banner. Big moves ahead. Nathan's kids ran around with paper airplanes. My mother swept in with a hug that never makes it all the way to her hands. "You made it," she said to me. Then to Mia, "Oh, look at you, sunshine." Lena handed over the pastries. "We brought." Mom waved them away. "We'll see if there's room." At the table by the entry were name tags. I saw Mom, Dad, Nathan, Jess, his wife, Uncle Ray, even Coach Tim, because somehow he was there too. Then the one that stopped me. Mia, limited guest. I blinked. "What is this?" Mom didn't look. "Oh, just a system. We had to plan plates. Don't overthink it." Lena's jaw went tight. "Limited how?" Mom finally smiled, like we were being silly. "Kids make a mess. They nibble. We did half portions for under 6. It's not personal." Nathan walked past, read it, leaned into me, and whispered, "That means no food." The kind of joke he thinks makes him lovable. His boys heard him and laughed loud, like a signal. Mia looked up at me, then at her tag, then back at me like she was trying to figure out what she had done wrong. I felt my ears go hot. Not loud anger. Not the kind that makes a scene. Something smaller and colder. The part of me that usually says, "It's fine," went quiet, like it finally ran out of batteries. Dad clapped me on the shoulder. "Don't sulk," he said. "Plenty to go around if you behave." Lena whispered. "Mark." "I know," I said. We walked deeper into the house. Laughter from the kitchen. A whiteboard in the dining room with numbers and arrows. Investment. Family first. Mia's tag stuck to her dress at a crooked angle. She touched it, confused. I took her hand and squeezed twice. "It's our code for your safe." Then someone behind me said, "Make sure the limited guests don't touch the shrimp." And everybody laughed like it wasn't about a 5-year-old with stickers in her pockets. I didn't argue. Not then. I just swallowed the taste of metal and told myself we'd eat after. I told myself I could take one more small thing and walk it to the trash without a sound. That was the last lie I told myself that day. It didn't start with a name tag. It never does. It starts with small math. At 22, I co-signed Nathan's first car because his credit was still young. He promised to refinance in 6 months. He didn't. 12 months in, he missed 2 payments. I covered them because Mom said, the bank doesn't care about excuses. When I asked Nathan for the money, he said, bro, relax, it's all circulating. Like money is water and not work. At 24, I moved out. My parents didn't come see the apartment. We've seen plenty of small places, Dad said. You'll upgrade when you grow up. That same month, Mom sent me a photo of Nathan's new condo view. He's thriving, she wrote. I paid his HOA late fee 3 weeks later to avoid a strike against the family's reputation. At 26, Lena and I married at City Hall. We invited everyone. Mom texted the morning of rain. They didn't come. That night, I got 2 messages. From Dad. You should have chosen a Saturday. From Mom. We'll do a bigger celebration when Nathan is back from his retreat. Nathan posted a story of him on a boat. I Venmo'd him $200 the next day because he said, we're in a bind. They held the deposit, and I told myself being a good brother looks like patience. When Mia was born, Mom put her hand on my shoulder in the hospital and said, now you'll finally understand what it means to sacrifice. She looked past me at Nathan. You'll be a great uncle, she said. He winked and said, I always am. The asks kept coming in different costumes. Can you float me $1,100 just until Friday? We're $387 short on rent. The bank is playing games. Coach Tim says if we can raise $5,000, the gym will put Nathan on the flyer. Exposure. I need a new laptop, business expense. Can you put it on your card and I'll Zelle you? I kept a spreadsheet. It wasn't even about the money at first. It was about not feeling crazy. Dates, amounts, reasons, promised return dates that slid like jelly. The total crossed $8,000, then $12,000, then $17,640. Every time I tried to talk about it, Mom said, don't nickel and dime your brother. We're family. And Dad said, real men don't keep score. Nathan said, it's all going to make sense when the product hits. The product changed names 3 times. First, it was a fitness app, then a meal prep service, then a hybrid community experience, which I think meant a gym with smoothies. He made decks with pastel slides and buzzwords. He'd send me edits at midnight. Can you clean this up? I'd fix the grammar, the numbers, the parts where he promised things that didn't exist. He'd present, get a few claps, a few let's revisit, then call me excited and say, we're so close. Meanwhile, our life was small and steady. I fixed laptops. Lena taught art at the community center. We budgeted on Sundays with coffee and a pencil. We made grocery lists that worked like Tetris. We said no to vacations because daycare is a second rent. We were okay. Not flashy. Okay. The guilt came wrapped as concern. Lena deserves better, Mom would say to me on the phone. Do you ever think about that? Better how? A woman wants security. Nathan knows how to provide. I almost laughed. Does he? She huffed. He will if people stop dragging him down. There were little humiliations you can't take a picture of. At Thanksgiving, Mom placed the larger turkey leg on Nathan's plate and pushed the smaller toward mine. You don't need more, she said. At Christmas, Nathan's kids opened drones and bikes. Mia got a coloring book for ages 3+. She was 4. When I got a small promotion, title change, same pay, Dad said. Titles don't feed a family. When Nathan posted a photo of a borrowed watch, Dad reposted it with proud of my boy. Lena tried to keep peace. She wore the smile you wear when you know the camera's on. In the car, she'd let out a breath like she was tired of holding in her lungs. We can skip the next one, she'd say. We can, I'd say. And then when Mom called, it would mean a lot if you were here. I would say, we'll be there. The money asks started to bloom into plans I was supposed to fund. Picture this, Nathan said one night at my parents' table, chopping the air with his hand like a CEO. Family equity. We all put in. We all own it. Mark can handle the finances. Dad's name helps with lending. Mom runs front of house. Jess does social. We're unstoppable. Lena said, what are the terms? Nathan blinked. Terms. You said equity. He leaned back. Wow. She's intense. Mom said, don't ruin this with details. Trust is the term. I said, what's the number? Nathan smiled. Seed is small. Just 50. We can do 30 now, 20 later. Friendly paper. 50,000. Lena said. Relax, Mom said. It's not all from you two. You're not selfish. But when the group chat went up, family fund reel, the only requests with dollar signs had my name under them. Aunt Cheryl was praying. Uncle Ray was networking. Coach Tim sent a flex emoji. Somewhere in there, I sent $750 just to show good faith. then $1,250 bridge, then $2,000 closing this week FR. The week never closed. I started waking up at 2:11 a.m. like my body had an alarm for dread. I'd stare at the ceiling and list numbers in my head. Rent, daycare, groceries, gas. Mom's small ask for Nathan's kids' camp fees because summer brain is real. The spreadsheet total hit $23,980. 2 months before the party, Mia had a fever. We were at urgent care at 1 a.m., Lena sleeping upright in the chair, Mia curled like a bean on my chest. My phone buzzed. Nathan, yo, can you do me a quick 400, literally stuck at pump. I put my phone face down. The next morning, Mom texted, when you're a parent, you'll understand it's emergencies all day. I typed and deleted 3 different replies. I sent nothing. That night, Dad called. What happened to you? You used to be generous. He sighed into the speaker like he wanted me to hear how disappointed he was. Don't change on us. I didn't say. I am changing on purpose. I didn't say. This isn't generosity, it's extraction. I said, we'll be at the party. And then the tag. Limited guest. The whiteboard. The whisper. The laugh. The way the room stretched around Nathan's needs and shrank around my child. If you've never stood in the family you were born into and watched them label your kid less, I hope you never do. I felt something shift that was not anger, but alignment. A bone finally clicking back where it's supposed to be. Mark, Lena said, eyes on mine. I'm here, I said. And for the first time in a long time, I believed me. The party moved like parties do. Too bright in the kitchen, too loud in the living room. Too many hands reaching for the same plate. Jess handed out glasses. Dad told the story about how Nathan sold a snow cone to a snowman at 6 years old. Everyone laughed again. I watched Mia sit at the kids' table with an empty plate and her little hands folded because she's polite in rooms that don't earn it. When the food line finally opened, Mom stood guard like a bouncer. There were labels: Prime, Standard, Limited. Next to Limited was a small stack of napkins and 2 apple slices like a joke. Lena stepped forward. She's 5, she said. She eats dinner. Mom smiled without teeth. Then she can have dinner at home. She's at home, Lena said, voice steady like a ruler. In her family's house. Dad's voice came from behind us. Don't make a scene. Nathan clinked a spoon to a glass. Before we grub, he said, I want to say something. He stepped to the whiteboard. We're at the cusp. We've got a verbal from a real angel. We just need to close the family round to show momentum. It's not even about the cash, it's the signal. We do this together, and when I ring that bell, we all eat. He tapped the marker where he'd written, family first, 3 times. So we've got asks, but also gifts. This is community. Mom nodded like a parishioner in church. Dad crossed his arms. Jess filmed. Nathan looked at me. Mark, you're the cornerstone. We talked about it. 30 today locks a better match. We'll paper it, friendly terms. It's not a loan, it's love. I stared at him. 30 what? He laughed. 1,000 obviously. We can split it over the next 6 weeks. 10 today shows faith. Lena's eyebrows went up. You said small seed. Mom put a hand on Lena's elbow. Men are talking. Something went very quiet in my head, like a winter morning where the air snaps. I looked at Mia, at her tag, at the apple slices, at the whiteboard with arrows pointing to my name like a drain. I thought about 2:11 a.m., about pediatric fevers, about the word limited sitting on my daughter's chest because someone decided she was allowed to be hungry in their house. I said no. The room did that small wobble rooms do before a drop. Mom blinked. No what? No to the round. No to the cornerstoning. No to the friendly paper. No to all of this. Dad snorted. Grow up. Nathan smiled like we were playing. You're kidding. I'm not, I said. Jess lowered her phone. Wow. Mom's voice went cold. We have company. So do I said, nodding toward Lena and Mia. And she's hungry. I stepped to the table. I took a plate. I filled it. Chicken, rice, salad, a roll, 2 strawberries from the prime bowl, because I was done pretending berries obeyed a seating chart. I carried it to Mia. Her eyes widened. For me? For you? I said. All of it. Mom hissed. Those portions are planned. I looked at her. Then your plan failed. Dad's face flushed. You don't come into my house and... This isn't about your house, I said. This is about my kid. Watch your tone, he said. I have been, I said. For 33 years. Nathan chuckled, leaning back. Bro, emotions aren't assets. We're building legacy. Don't embarrass yourself over a plate. Lena took Mia's tag off and set it face down on the table. Your legacy is written in how you treat people who can't push back yet. Silence. The kind that hurts your ears. Mom broke it. If you can't support your brother, then maybe this isn't the place for you. I nodded. I agree. Dad laughed once hard. You think you can shame us? You need us more than you admit. I shook my head. I needed you to be kind. You chose clever. Nathan leaned forward, elbows on knees. Here's what's going to happen. You'll cool down. You'll apologize for making a scene. You'll wire 10 by Monday, so we can make Tuesday's meeting hit. We'll put you on the cap table. You get to brag later. Everybody wins. Or you keep acting like a martyr and you're out. He spread his hands. Your call. I looked at him. At my parents. At the whiteboard. At my little girl happily chewing chicken, oblivious to the tug-of-war happening over her head. And I felt it settle in me like a key turning. Not dramatic. Just final. This isn't about revenge, I said, my voice steady in a way I almost didn't recognize. This is about closure. Mom scoffed. Closure? Don't be theatrical. It means I'm done playing a role you wrote for me. I said. I stood. I took Lena's hand. I picked up Mia's little backpack with the unicorn zipper. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't slam a door. I walked to the entry table. I took a pen. On the back of Mia's tag, I wrote one word. No. Nathan's boys watched us like we were a show. One of them whispered, he's mad, in the delighted tone kids use. Dad took a step like he might block the door. I waited. He didn't. We reached the porch. The sun had slipped behind the neighbor's roof. The yard smelled like charcoal and something overcooked. I could hear laughter starting again inside, forced and loud. Lena squeezed my hand. What now? I unlocked the car. Now we eat, I said. And then we draw lines. We drove. I didn't look back. We stopped at a diner with cracked leather booths and a waitress who called everyone Han. Mia ate waffles with strawberries that belonged to no tier. Lena slid a plate toward me. You okay? I nodded, then shook my head. I am and I'm not. She put her palm over my knuckles. Both can be true. My phone buzzed on the table, face down. It buzzed again. And again. 12 times in a minute. Then more. I turned it over. 27 messages. 14 missed calls. The group chat. Family fund reel. Lighting up like a slot machine. Mom, you embarrassed us. Dad, you made your mother cry. Jess, you ruined the vibe. Nathan, you'll regret this. Followed by, are you out of your mind? This is bigger than your feelings. Aunt Cheryl, praying. Coach Tim, flex emoji. Then we good. Uncle Ray, don't burn bridges. You never know. Lena took a picture of Mia's syrup grin. You don't need to answer, she said. I know, I said, though my thumb hovered like muscle memory wanted to explain itself. A new message, Nathan again. Deadline is Tuesday. Wire 10K by noon or I erase you from the cap table and from my life. I read it twice. I laughed without humor. Erase me, I said softly, mostly to myself. Haven't they been trying? We went home. We did Mia's bath. We read the bedtime book. She asked, why did Grandma call me limited? I swallowed. Because grown-ups forget their words are sharp, I said. You are not limited. You are my favorite everything. She nodded like a scientist recording data. Okay, she said, and slid a sticker into my pocket. When she slept, I took the shoebox down from the closet, added the sticker, and opened my laptop. I pulled up the spreadsheet. I looked at every line, every memo, every just till Friday. I remembered the times I transferred money from our grocery budget and pretended I hadn't. The nights Lena squeezed my hand in the dark and said, we'll be okay. Even when okay was a cliff edge. Lena leaned on the doorframe. What are you doing? Cleaning, I said. Digitally. Everywhere. I opened my banking app. I created new sub-accounts. House. Emergency. Mia. Us. I changed 2 passwords. I turned on alerts. I scrolled to recurring transfers with names that weren't ours and canceled them one by one. My hands shook, not with fear, but with release. Dad called. I let it ring out. He called again. And again. 9 calls in 10 minutes. Then a voicemail. Then another. I didn't listen. I knew their script. I'd been acting it out for a decade. At 9:32 p.m., Mom texted, come early tomorrow. We'll talk it out. At 9:34, we're family. At 9:36, don't be dramatic. At 9:41, a photo of Nathan's whiteboard with family first circled and a caption, this is for you too if you stop being selfish. It's almost funny how people will weaponize a word like family until it means do what I want. At 10:05, Nathan, okay, real talk. Jess is freaking out. I told her you'll fix it. You always fix it. Send 5K tonight to show movement. I'll tell them you're good for the rest. Then, bro. Then, don't make me look stupid. Then, answer, man. Then, Coward. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. The silence felt like new snow. Sunday morning, 7:12 a.m., Dad again. We were making pancakes. Mia was stirring, tongue out in concentration. The phone buzzed across the counter with Dad, flashing like an alarm I'd set in childhood. I pressed decline. Who was that? Mia asked. A spam call, I said. It wasn't a lie. Sometimes the truth is about function, not label. By noon, the texts changed flavor. Threats dressed like logic. Dad, if you don't contribute, don't expect help when you need it. Mom, you'll regret pushing your family away. Nathan, I'll make sure everyone knows who killed this. Jess, people don't forget. By evening, they tried a new angle. Mom, Mia will miss out. Think about the children. I stared at that one until the screen dimmed. Monday, 43 missed calls, 31 texts, 2 emails with subject lines like Final Chance and Family Matters. A Venmo request from Nathan for $10,000 with a fire emoji. I clicked decline. He resent for $5,000. Decline. $2,500. Decline. $1,000. Decline. He messaged, petty. I thought of Dad's line. Real men don't keep score. The ledger in my head went quiet. At lunch, Lena sat across from me and slid a notebook into the middle of the table. A clean page. A pen. Okay, she said. What do we want our life to look like if we stop trying to pass their tests? I wrote, predictable mornings. She wrote, no 2:11 a.m. dread. I wrote, savings with our name on it. She wrote, holidays that don't end with a fight. We wrote for an hour. It looked small and plain and holy. Tuesday came. Noon passed. I did not wire. At 12:07 p.m., Nathan, you chose wrong. At 12:08, I'm done with you. At 12:09, a screenshot of the group chat where he wrote, Mark bailed. We proceed without dead weight. There were thumbs-up reactions from people who don't know our budget. Mom wrote, he's going through something. He'll come around. Dad, not under my roof. Aunt Cheryl, praying. Coach Tim, flex emoji. I turned my phone off. I took a walk. The air smelled like fresh-cut grass and hot asphalt. My body felt heavier and lighter at once, like I'd set down a bag I forgot I was carrying, and now my shoulders didn't know what to do. Wednesday morning, Mom showed up at our apartment unannounced. That old key. I met her at the door before she could step in. You changed, she said without hello. I grew, I said. You've let your wife poison you against your own blood. Lena, from the kitchen, good morning to you too. Mom lowered her voice. Mark, be reasonable. Your brother needs you. My daughter needed dinner, I said. She got a name tag instead. Mom flinched. That was logistics. No, I said. That was a message. She looked me up and down like I'd shrunk. We made you who you are. I shook my head. You gave me a start. I made me. She pressed her lips together. Your father says if you won't apologize, don't bother coming on Sunday. I won't, I said. To both. She stared past me into our tiny living room. The toys. The plants that keep trying. The visible life of a family that budgets. You'll come around, she said finally, as if saying it out loud could bend the future. Maybe, I said. But not back. She left. The key clicked. I leaned my forehead against the door for a long time and felt the cool paint. Lena touched my back. You did it, she said. Did what? Chose us. The call slowed. The text got colder, shorter, rarer. Then came silence. That dangerous period where people are either healing or plotting. 2 weeks later, I got a letter, not from a lawyer, thank God, but from a bank. A late notice on an account with my name as co-signer that I had forgotten about. The car. 90 days delinquent. Immediate action required. My chest tightened. I called Nathan. He didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. I drove to my parents'. I left Mia with Lena. I told myself I wasn't going to argue. I was going to untie a knot I tied at 22. Dad opened the door, eyebrows already raised in judgment. I need the car paperwork, I said. He moved to close the door. We're eating. I held it with my palm. I need it. Today. Inside, Nathan sat on the couch, eyes on his phone. He didn't look up. Hey, I said. He kept scrolling. You dead to me, remember? Then release my name. I said. He laughed. Do your worst. Okay, I said. I called the bank in their driveway. I explained. I asked for steps. The woman on the phone was kind. She told me the options. None of them were free. I chose the one that hurt least long-term and most today. I paid the back amount. I removed myself. It was money I didn't want to spend, but more than that, it was a lock clicking. An ancient one. I texted Nathan the confirmation. You're welcome, I wrote. He replied with a middle finger emoji. I stared at it. and felt nothing. Not even anger. Just information. That night we ate pasta with Jared sauce and garlic toast. It tasted like a feast. We watched a cartoon. Mia fell asleep on my chest. My phone sat face down and quiet. For the first time in years, I didn't dread the sound it might make. The house hummed. The future didn't feel like a trap. It felt like a hallway with doors we could choose.